As humans, it is our basic instinct to differentiate everything into boxes, good and bad. We do it all the time, each and every day. We look at the mirror and say, I'm not looking that good today. We often say to our children, you are a bad boy. The president of this country is good. My friends are really mean. We always separate. Rumi has said, beyond the realms of right and wrong, there is a space. I'll meet you there. I'm talking about going to that space beyond right and wrong. Things just are the way they have to be. There is no absolute right and wrong. Let me tell you a story. There was a poor farmer. He had a horse. One day his horse ran off into the country of enemies. They were wild tribals and dangerous. All his neighbors offered condolences, but the man said, how do you know that this is not a good fortune? Few months later, the horse returned, bringing another horse of excellent stock with him. All his neighbors offered their congratulations. But the man said, how do you know that this is not a disaster? The two horses bred, and the family became really rich in fine horses. The farmer's son spent much of his time horse riding. One day he fell off and broke his hip bone. All the neighbors came to offer their condolences, but the man said, how do you know this is not a good fortune? Another year passed, and their country was invaded by the enemies of another country. All the able-bodied young men were taken into the army, and 90% of them died. Thus, our labeled good fortune can be a disaster, and our labeled disaster can be a good fortune. Who can tell how events will be transformed? As humans, we are surrounded by other humans. So what differentiates us from each other? From a normal person to abusive husband, to a killer, to an alcoholic, to a drug addict? It is our level of consciousness. Their level of consciousness may be less than that of a chimpanzee. They are afflicted and diseased and delusioned in their minds. How can we be upset at a diseased person? Instead, we should be upset about the disease. We should try to create a bridge of empathy. It just is. We have to look beyond good and bad. It does not mean we do not need to take any action against abusive husband or a partner or an addict, but we need to take an inspired action. We have to release our judgments and release the egoic idea that we are better than anyone else. Others are the way they are. There is nothing good and bad. So ask yourself today, how can I take inspired action? How do I create separation in my life? Thank you.